Hello, everyone, and welcome back once again to OWC World Cup 2022 round of 32 weekend. We are heading into our last couple matches of the day, but they're the last and very definitely not the least, as we have an incredibly hype, incredibly close matchup between Norway and the United Kingdom coming up right now. I am this one guy. Joining me for this one is going to be Chillier Pear. Welcome in, Mr. Pear. What are you thinking about Norway versus UK today?
Oh, what a first match to cast of this tournament this year. This is a match I've been excited about ever since I saw the qualifiers results from this year. I was looking at this Norway-UK match, and we're looking at a UK with a lot of new blood this year. Some returning players obviously coming back on the roster, some very strong returning players coming back, and a couple of new players here that I think are going to have a lot to prove today. Likewise with Norway, we've seen some pretty decent roster switches here, as well as the addition of players like Nindrake, captained by Yokspai, of course, for Norway, UK captained by Listia, both captains that know exactly what they're doing in these early stage matches, so I'm expecting some very smart picks and bans to start us off.
We're looking like we're getting into the lobby pretty quickly, so we're going to get to find out those picks and bans pretty fast. There is so little separating these teams, it feels like. I mean, yeah, they're 13 and 20 seed, but with the skill sets that they're both able to encompass, it feels like almost every map is a toss-up, and we do quickly get a Nomad 3 UK ban, a Hard Rock 2 Norway ban, which are not always map styles you see banned out in a matchup like this. Norway afraid of UK's precision, guys like Kingling coming up. UK maybe afraid of, just the alt map consistency on Team Norway. Very interested to see where they head into the picks now, with that leaving up a lot of the mechanics stuff, all the speed, which we've talked about, both these teams pretty solid on the tapping mechanics. All the aim is up too, which really doesn't feel like it favors directly either of these squads.
Yeah, I mean, the only real advantage I could maybe conceive of between these two teams would be maybe a little bit of an aim advantage for the UK, just with players like Plasma being on the roster. But even then, on these early stages, I think all of these players are just so capable in what they, with their tournament experience and their overall map experience, that I'm not expecting them to have too much trouble on some of this. Norway, a country I think we kind of attribute a lot to the gimmick skill sets, the alts, the tech, the hidden. And I think that they've picked up a lot of good mechanics this year as well, not just on having players like Nineric on the roster, but GN is kind of a slept-on stream player sometime, and Yokspai can pretty much play anything at these early stage matches. Likewise with the UK, I think that, while we talk about this roster being very different from previous years and having so many major changes, this is still a very, very mechanically and consistently capable roster. They are going to be able to put up really good scores on some of these early maps, as well as, mechanics like we've been mentioning. We're going to go to Fremont first for Norway. I guess they're casting their bets on the overall mod consistency for their players, which is definitely something I would gamble on if I was Norway.
Yeah, I think this is something that they're going to be pretty solid on, that slightly awkward aim and the requirement of having a hidden and a hard rock on a map like this one, where it's not the most comfortable, either way. Like, either mod can play it and it's not terrible, but either mod can play it and it's not amazingly great. It's not anti-mod, but it's not, super friendly one way or another, like something like the Free Mod 2, where it's kind of hard rock favored. Something like this with that awkward aim that comes into play a little bit more is a nice sort of free mod pick to start things off on. Norway, obviously, not going to have any issues with hidden. You've got Yokspai in. He can just slap hidden on anything and be fine. So we'll see how the teams match up. Players talking about overmod in the lobby, so I'm curious to see what we get. You've got GN, Yokspai, Nielsen, Jompa Tormen, and Nindrake in for Norway. Majora Blue Rouge, the new player allowed to play on the UK team this year, and Listia in as the hidden player. That's a lot of mods, Chillier. That's a lot of mods.
Man, we normally see some overmodding on these aim-oriented free mod picks, but, if you know Alden maps and you've seen this map this weekend, this is pretty awkward in terms of what this map requires here. Obviously, the circle size, not too crazy for those Hard Rock players, but I imagine the hidden players are going to have a lot of maybe trouble with some of these beginning patterns if you're not comfortable. If you are the UK, though, Listia is certainly somebody you want on that hidden only for your mod players right now. Very, very capable at these awkward style, kind of slightly lower AR hidden picks. AR9 not too low, but low enough that it's uncomfortable for a lot of players here. Obviously, Yokespy and GN you mentioned before. Nineric and Yompa Tormen bringing up the Hard Rock a little bit more comfortable on the higher AR, but Nindrake finds a bit of an overaim on the sliders along with Blue and Rouge to start it off. Norway going to have an advantage at the start.
A little 3-2 FC margin for Norway. This is a 3-minute long map, so it's, not going to make anything too crazy early on, especially the break coming in from Mr. GN. So it's Yokes and Yompa with the 2-way FC against Majora and Listia as Rouge falls again. There goes Yompa Torment and Nindrake, though, and now it's a double FC to just a single FC. Make that an even 1 FC to 1. Backing combo and Blue should help, and there was Majora as well. Did you expect everybody to break this frequently on this map? Because I know I didn't.
With overmodding, I would say I expected it a little bit more. There's those really, kind of dense, sharp-angled triples thrown out throughout the beginning of this map. And if you're not super comfortable with your mod on those, there is a pretty high likelihood that you're going to find at least one break on them. Unfortunately for the players on the UK, they seem to be finding a lot of those breaks towards the beginning here, as Norway recovered a little bit better from their initial sets of them. So you've got a pretty early combo and score lead for Norway halfway through the map right now. Yokespy, the big difference maker right now, the only FC remaining in the lobby, playing absolutely stunningly for his first map here. 99% hack on the hidden.
Yokespy is, on the low-key, as he drops a bunch of hundreds that don't really affect anything. Yokespy is on the low-key, one of the best early-stage players out there. The guy is just able to full combo about any map you throw his way in an early pool where the star rating is not incredibly high and he's not outscaled on skill sets that he's not comfortable with. So, as we get a little bit of a freeze here, we will see what happens on the other side of this. It's a 200,000 point lead for Norway, and hopefully not a DC there for GN. Unfortunately, it does mean our audio and our hit sounds are going to be gone since it's in that first slot. But
I'm waiting for the ref to say something. Yeah.
Well, it's far too late for any sort of abort or restart at this point. So we're going to just have to see what happens the rest of the way. For now, it's Norway still holding on to the lead. There are some breaks coming out. Majora with the miss. Yokespy still holding on to that FC, I think is probably good enough for Norway.
Yeah, this is going to be... here's the question. Is this winnable for Norway, even if we just take GN's 306k? I think it is.
Yes. That would be the second time today that would happen, because the
score is actually still going in their favor.
Yeah, this happened in the Germany match as well. They had a player DC on one of their maps, and they won it 3v4. Yokespy does break at the end on that really awkward stream, but it's still a win for Norway with GN's 306k at a minimum. So that point is going to be going in their favor regardless of what actually is happening behind the scenes with GN, I believe. I don't think there's any way for this to change.
I'll take a quick screenshot of the results really quick before it disappears, just in case, so we have it. But as of right now, it looks like in terms of total score, even without GN, it looks like that is going to be a win for Norway, kind of on the back of Yokespy for the most part, but Yompa Tormen actually with a very good backing score on the Hard Rock, 746k, almost one miss with 99.14. Blue trying to do whatever he could for the UK there, putting up their highest score of 623k, only 2 misses on the hidden Hard Rock, another very impressive play. So we've got some really good scores coming out of both teams here. It's just, you've got Yokespy on these early stage aim maps with hidden, gets a little awkward there in terms of the jump patterning, and that's exactly what he's good at, and there's a reason Norway opened up with that as their first pick. I'm interested to see what the United Kingdom goes for to respond to that. I guarantee they have a few things up their sleeves here to get some points on the board early. I'm expecting maybe a free mod 2 from them at some point during this match. I think they have a lot of really good players for that. Blue for one, Majore, Malteser. I think Listia has been doing a great job working on the speed lately as well, so they have a lot of capable players. Mahmood, I believe, as well, would be pretty good at a map like that. I'm not sure what the mod capabilities are there, but definitely maybe a good... no mod? I'm speculating.
Yeah, you know, it's always hard to predict on the free mods in week 1 because you don't have any previous free mod data. With there not being any free mod maps in the qualifiers stage, there's a little less to work on. Most other kind of slots, you can usually make an educated guess at how a team will do, but you're kind of trying to combine like the Hidden 2 and the Hard Rock 2 of the previous, you know, the qualifier stage to make any sort of guess on, you know, an AR8 CS5 free mod. So it makes it a little more difficult. It looks like... I don't know if we ever got an abort or if the map ever actually ended. Okay, the map eventually ended, so we can move on.
We did get the score logged.
Yeah,
they actually won by 55k
without any score from GN. So that means they won by. They would have won by, like, you know, even just taking his score at the time of the DC, it would be 350k. So yeah, all good there. One other skill set I might think of if I'm the UK is that speed. I know we've talked about Norway improving their speed, but I would be, you know, the free mod 2 DT3 kind of angle.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. I think the UK should kind of open right out of the gates with some faster picks. You know, I think Norway has a lot of good players potentially for that style of map, but if you look at the UK, if you know this roster, I mean, again, I'm looking at a lot of players on this team that are good at DT, period, even speed in general. Malteser, Majore, you know, Mahmood, Plasma, Blue, Listia, Rudge, I mean, there's really... Kingling even, unironically, like, this entire roster is pretty freaking good at fast maps. And it looks like they are going to go for the DT3, like you said.
I like this pick for them. Going the Senya DT. Going to be very tapping focused early pick here, and when you've got Malteser and Majora on a team, I mean, that's two of the best speed players for this round you're going to find on the same team together. Now, granted, Norway, they have Nindrake and whoever they decide to put in for this, but that is a pretty strong UK roster for this type of map. Looks like we're seeing probably Major, Malteser, Rudge, and Listia, as you mentioned, improving the speed skill set. Melver, Yompa, Tormund, Nindrake, and... is it Yokespie? What?
This map is pretty bursty, so I guess there is a chance that Yokespie is probably just gambling on being able to kind of chad his way through the bursts and then hit the aim. Because this map does have a decent amount of jumps in it that could be missed, as Malteser is kind of little, maybe outwardly worried about right now, missing on the jumps here. I think that's a reason Listia is a good pick for this on the UK as well. A very good aim player, and you know, if you've improved your speed and your aim is still at the same skill level, this is the kind of the perfect pick for any player that fills that slot right now, which is why I think Majori and Rudge are going to be massive players for the UK on this one. I'm expecting big scores from the two of them here. Likewise with Yompa, Tormund, and Nindrake, I think we're looking for some solid scores here. It looks like players stuck on waiting still a little bit, potentially. Maybe some kind of carried over Bancho issues from the previous pick will maybe switch people back over to the tournament server, get everything all set up here, hopefully not ruining people's warm-ups too much with the pauses. You know how that works pretty quickly sometimes.
Yeah, players can be a little temperamental about their warm-ups. I don't really blame them, especially as you're going into a tapping focused map. Yeah. Yeah. I don't really blame anyone for wanting to stay warmed up, especially when you're going from, you know, kind of an aim map to a tapping map. That's definitely not the place you want to lose your warm-up.
That's where I want Yokespie to leave.
Yeah, I don't really know what's going on at this point. We're having, looks like, a little bit of some server issues. Yeah,
Listia potentially having some Bancho issues. Apparently messages not going through. Anthony W potentially coming in for Norway here for Yokespie? Is that why they said Yokespie leave? I don't know what's happening right now.
I don't know. We're gonna wait and see. We got maybe another minute or two here. Do you want to talk about, while we're waiting, the implications of this match We talked about this a little bit before for people who were here, Dio and myself, about the bracket implications of this, despite it being such an early match. The winner of this goes on to face Canada, which is probably a death knell, as Canada looks incredibly strong this year and looked very good this week. The loser of this is going to drop down to face off against Chile, and then would have one of several teams. If the team that wins this and presumably goes on to lose to Canada ends up in the losers bracket against the winner of Sweden versus Finland, which to me feels like a slightly easier route than having to play against one of the possible teams that you'd end up against, which could be something like Russia or Indonesia in losers round 2. It's rare that we see a round of 32 match have like really important bracket implications for teams, but if you're a team that's trying to get back into the top of the top of the results table, or if you're a team that's trying to kind of ascend to that stage for the first time, it can really matter to win your first round match in a very contested battle like this one.
Oh, did we get Bancho working? Please? I saw a lot of players saying that they couldn't ready. Oh, Listia's messages are finally coming through. Saw a quick blip of chat there. Rudge and Listia were having trouble readying up before the start came out, so there is a chance that we actually don't get them in here because if they had.
That's not right. What's going on here?
Scriptchan. All right, so for those of you that don't know, yeah, for those of you that don't know, Scriptchan pulls from Bancho, the match results to post in the match feed in the chat, which is why you're seeing Norway 2-0 against the UK right now, despite them not playing through the pick, because it basically just took whatever scores that it grabbed, which, if you're the UK playing 2 versus 4 at the start of the map, not gonna work out too far in your favor. So, score is still 1-0. There is absolutely nothing. So this is pretty bad. Unironically, we've had some Bancho issues in the past. This is pretty bad. This has surpassed most Bancho issues we've ever had here. So we're gonna try and get everything all settled up right now. Okay, according to our referee extraordinaire and fellow organizer Leo FLT, Bancho actually canceled the match. It was not aborted. So the ref didn't actually do anything. The match was canceled. So some pretty sizable issues here. So yeah, that is true. Aborted matches don't submit scores. Okay. So everyone is going to promptly get removed and then added back. Rouge is going to be restarting their game to get everything all settled here. I think, I don't know. We're just going to sit here and vibe to the song.
We're gonna hang out and wait. Luckily, we're on a pretty good song here. Reminder, we have Brazil versus Italy coming up in about 12 minutes, so it looks like that one will end up probably being on the second stream, because this match is obviously having these issues that is making it take a little longer than we would have liked for it to, so apologies for that, of course. And that'll be the last match of the weekend, so it'll be followed up by the round of 16 map pool showcase sometime thereafter. And we've got a lot of good matchups set for next weekend already, so we've got, just these last couple that are trying to fill in those last few spots. The winner of this one, as mentioned, goes on to face Canada. Winners over Chile in that 5-0 sweep. Loser drops down to, of course, then face Chile. So we've got some interesting matches that'll be coming from this one. And finally, it does appear, at long last, that we will be able to get going. So it's going to be Melver Penguinzi, Nindrake, and Anthony W. versus Majora, Malteser, Rouge, and Listia on the side of the UK. This is the UK's first pick, and it looks like it's going to go off at long last without further issue.
Yeah, we talked a little bit before when they were being like, oh yeah, lagging a little bit, losing warm-up. Yeah, a couple minutes later, we're finally getting into the DT map here. Hopefully it didn't have too much of an effect. For the UK right now, it doesn't look like it did. We've got 3 double S's and Listia with, what, 1/100 towards the beginning of the map here. Some of these sliders are pretty dangerous, looking for maybe some potential misses here. Doesn't look like it. Oh! That's a break from Listia right at the end of it.
Yeah, I feel that the most common misses on this map are actually on the aim rather than on, the bursts or the streams, just because the players that are in for this are typically going to be a speed players, so their handicap is going to be on the aim. NCW, a couple misses for Norway's side, so that means combo lead going back over to UK. 3 FCs against 3, but Listia with the 250 combo, that's about 170 combo advantage over Anthony W to bring this lead back to the UK with.
That was a double miss from Anthony W too, so he's got some drop DAC on top of the initial miss here. So it's going to be an uphill battle for Norway, especially on the accuracies right now. It's really Penguinzy and Nindrake trying to do whatever they can here. Melver at the 96, and there goes Penguinzy and Anthony W on the same pattern. That's an even bigger advantage for the UK, I say, as they find a double break on... What?
So you've got Majora still holding the FC. You've got Listia holding a decent backing combo. Meanwhile, it's double FC for the side of Norway.
No! Sorry.
There goes Majora as well. Okay, Melver and Nindrake are double FCing against no FCs now for the United Kingdom. Doesn't really matter what happens anywhere else. If Melver and Nindrake hold, there is basically nothing that United Kingdom can do at this juncture in this pick. Nindrake is doing things that are illegal in about 47 countries on this pick.
All except Norway.
Yep, that's the only place where that is allowed. Norway a little more lax, I suppose, on their capping regulations. Their government more okay with that sort of thing happening in an OWC match than maybe most other nations.
How is this man so good at this skill set? What am I watching right now? This is so impressive. Just every time you see double S.
Speed players spawn into the world and they just do stuff. I don't really get it, but it feels like that's what happens, and that is going to be an SS from Nindrake on the side of Norway. It is a matching full combo for Melver, albeit with slightly worse accuracy, to say the least. But it was more than enough from those two players, combined with the solid backing scores from Penguinzy and Anti-W. That's a break point for Norway over the United Kingdom on the speed map. Majora and Malteser, despite being highly touted speed players, actually are both outscored by Listia. I don't know that those words were ever expected to come out of my mouth. Malteser with a 1 slider break 2-100 play for himself, and 2-0 with a break point to Norway. Not the way I would have expected a match like this to start in previous years, but this is a new Norway that are much better at this skill set than they've ever been before.
Yeah, I mentioned I was excited to see what Norway could do this year with their newfound talent and mechanics here. The UK, unironically, not bad scores there. That's a 3 million plus team score. That's pretty impressive, considering the scores we've seen this weekend across maps here. It's just unfortunate when you see a constant slider breaks and misses on these patterns, this kind of linear aim in that DT map. And, if you've got a player like Nindrake who's super confident at that type of thing, it's really not going to give you a lot of wiggle room there. Yompa Torment apparently is not in the lobby, but is in the lobby. Very cool. Next up, it's going to be Norway's pick here. Interested to see what they go for here. They opened up with that free mod. I don't imagine they would go for free mod again. They could see them potentially go for the cranky map here, unless they want to start to tap into that hidden pool right now, which, while it seems like a good idea, you don't want to count the UK out on hidden maps. I think we've made that mistake in previous years, and I think the UK always ends up performing a little bit better on those maps than we kind of outscore it. So we will see what the UK is able to do on Norway's next pick here. Norway gonna try and go up 3-0 potentially at the start of the match with an impressive breakpoint team score here. It is going to be the free mod 3 from Norway. They are going double free mod.
I was thinking if it was going to be another free mod, it would actually be free mod 2 after we just saw them win on that speed pick in the DT pool.
Yeah, I guess maybe the bursty aim.
Yeah, but they're instead going to go free mod 3, so they're going to go, what we kind of refer to as the anti-mod. It's the circle size 5, approach rate 8. Somewhat awkward aim. Somewhat awkward aim, low BPM free mod. I do like this map as a pick. I don't know that it especially favors either of these teams, but I mean, hey, Yolks Pie CS5 Air 8 hidden GN reading player, and then they probably just have people to fill in for the precision. I don't know who necessarily that might be. I think UK wins out on the precision aspect of this, but I think Norway wins out on the reading aspect of this, which makes it a very interesting stylistic matchup overall between the two teams.
I think Jompa Tormen, funny enough, actually the only player in the lobby for Norway right now. I think Jompa Tormen is going to be a surprisingly big player on this if they are in. I think most of the maps we've seen them play so far, they've had exceptional performance, and YoxPie, likewise, you know, you kind of expect YoxPie to be in for the kind of like the Amy hidden style picks like this, so I'd be surprised to not see him playing this for Norway. On the side of the UK, I think we're going to see something similar to what we saw in Free Mod 1. I think we're going to see Listia on the hidden. I think Kingling is going to consume this map on hidden hard rock or hidden on hard, like genuinely, this is just what he's good at.
He's such a good precision player.
And then I think Plasma is just going to go off on this because I don't, you know, we haven't seen a Plasma yet in this this match, but you know, with all the talk about Plasma's aim and what I've seen from Plasma so far, that's going to be pretty sizable difference for the UK on this one. Looking for that last player on Norway right now. YoxPie going to get thrown back to the server right now. We're also going to check in, so we do have another match running simultaneously with this one. We do have Brazil versus Italy running on the B stream, so I'm going to have to go with that.
Yeah, that one's going to be getting underway in just a minute. Maybe update that depending on how long this one takes as we go to keep you guys in track of how the score is looking over in that battle. I believe they are getting going just in a minute or two here. The teams are starting to get into the lobby. And it looks like YoxPie has made it in, and I believe we should be about set here. So it is as expected. You've got GN Marcus, Jompa Tormen, and YoxPie. Listia, Mahmoud, Plasma, and Kingling. Chile are kind of covering the skill sets and the expectations for those players. And I don't know, I think we're maybe having a little bit more server problems here. You know, with it being free mod, players have to select their own mods. Of course, that can't be chosen by the referee for them. So YoxPie having the issues that he's having might require another kind of kick rejoin situation here. We'll see what happens. Again, apologies for the technical difficulties, some server problems going on. Busy Sunday afternoon here, Sunday evening on the server. But we'll get into map number 3 of this match hopefully shortly enough. Norway with that early break point on a seemingly UK favored speedy DT pick, but Norway take the break point, so they go 2-0 up. UK trying to avoid falling 3-0 behind early on in this one. Would be kind of surprising in this sort of matchup to see that happen, but given how strong this Norway team looks, not the craziest thing that's ever happened. Alright. And yeah, I don't know. Server problems here.
I absolutely love this.
Not actually sure what the story is right at the moment. I don't know what kind of the reasoning is or the background is on what's occurring at this point in time.
Yeah, I'm honestly not entirely sure either. YoxPie is gonna restart his game. All right, so YoxPie has been switched back over to the tournament server.
But he still is showing as being in the lobby. And now he's gone.
Okay. This is impeccable.
It is the year 2022, and these issues are still this pervasive. This might be the worst I've seen over the past several years of OWC. We've been fortunate enough to avoid too many major issues. Obviously, there was the incident in Winners Final last year on the tiebreaker with Fancy Lad. And what was the UK? It was the UK, right? Against... Who were they playing? Was it Taiwan or Hong Kong, maybe? There were some bad show issues. Other than that, though,
yeah, I have no
we have not run into too many problems. And luckily, you know, if you're going to look at a bright side, right, at least these issues are happening in between the picks. It's not somebody DCing during a map that's affecting the outcome. It is affecting, like, players' warm-up and such, but that affects everyone equally. Whereas, you know, if somebody DCs and it causes an issue, that affects one team. to the detriment of their outcome. So look on the silver lining here is that this is going to be affecting everyone in the lobby. But fortunately, it looks like we are set to go. So GN and Yokespy are going to be on Hidden for Norway over modding here, as Marcus and Jompa Tormen both on Hard Rock. Meanwhile, it is Hidden on Listia only, with Plasma Nomad and Mahmood and Kingling on the Hard Rock. So a couple 6.5s for both teams, couple AR8 Hiddens for Norway, one AR8 Hidden for the UK. And in we go. Map number 3, pick number 2 for Norway. UK looking for a breakpoint to try to avoid going down 3-0 to start this match off.
I think if there was any opportunity for the UK to take a breakpoint, it's most likely this map here. We do see some very early misses out of Norway to start this off right now. And, kind of my line of thinking right now is you almost guarantee an insanely highly score or FC from Kingling on this. Listia is very comfortable on this AR8 style Hidden, so much so that, she should be able to match any score from someone on Norway. And as Norway drops the last of their FCs, it's already the UK with 3 full combos to 0. So, kind of prevailing for them. Kingling on the 99.77% hack. Kind of what he does.
Yeah, Kingling known as one of the best Hard Rock ACK precision players in the game. This is his playground. He's very solid with the finger control on these low BPM maps as well. And it's a triple FC against a 0 FC. Listia, Plasma, and Kingling all holding full combo with pretty reasonable accuracy. I mean, 98, 98, 99. Meanwhile, you've got GN down at 96, Jompa Tormen down at 95. Norway kind of flopping here on their own pick. Listia does find a break right before that spinner, though. That's going to equalize things out just a little bit. It is still very UK favored, though.
Yeah, a couple extra breaks here at the ending for Listia aren't going to matter as much. Still almost 500,000 score on the Hidden right now, well outscoring a player like Jompa Tormen, who's unfortunately finding a lot of overaims on these kind of circular patterns with the Hard Rock here. Marcus and Yokespy have tried to build up some combos at the end here, but it really doesn't matter what the UK does at this point. Plasma and Kingling coming out and doing exactly what they needed to do here. Mahmood recovering on the Hard Rock right now. A little bit of uncertainty in that cursor movement, but it does not matter. Plasma on the Nomad aim and Kingling on the Hard Rock doing exactly what we expected them to do, and that is a seriously UK advantage breakpoint back against Norway here. So this match is pretty much back on track.
Yeah, that puts it right back level. UK back in pick order now with the breakpoint back quickly. And that is one of the best scores with Hard Rock you're going to see on that out of Kingling, by the way. 99.2 AC on 148 BPM, CS 6.5 Hard Rock is absolutely remarkable. And I mean, yes, it's what he's known for, but to be known for it in solo versus being able to go into a tournament match and put out that kind of performance are two very different things. So really, really impressive stuff from him.
Yeah, I'd love to see that from them. We talked a lot about the UK. Got to give some props to Yokespy on Norway on that one. One miss, 2 100s on the Hidden to put up 99.65%, 750k. The top score on their team, just barely above Marcus on the Hard Rock. So you did have some good 700+ thousand scores on them. Kind of just the other half of the team really making the difference for both sides here. Mahmood and Listia outscoring GN and Jompa Tormen on both accounts there. UK going to immediately go back in for the Nomad 2. They know they're strong on these flow aim stream picks here. This is a good position for them to try and tie this up.
Yeah, they go back into some tapping. We saw what happened the last time they picked a tapping heavy map, though, right? Their first pick was that DT3, and Norway said, "We're not having any of that, lads. We're going to take that one right away from you." This one, though, a little bit less focused on the speed and the stamina aspect, a little more focused on the flow aim. These streams are quite difficult, very uncomfortable in a lot of cases to play. So it kind of brings into a different aspect of the tapping skill set, I suppose, is the way to put it. And UK hoping that is a little more to their advantage, and they avoid some of those unfortunate misses that they had on DT3.
Yeah, some little slip-ups. I think the aim recovered a decent bit on that last pick. We saw some more comfortable play from the UK there, maybe getting into the swing of things. And, maybe they say they lost a bit of warm-up, and I think, you might have with that pause there, but it does give you some time to kind of cool down from any potential nerves you might have at the beginning of the match. And unironically, I think the pause at the beginning may have hurt Norway a little bit more than it did hurt the UK. I think they had a lot of momentum on their side, and, you know, they probably lost some of it. So, you know, really go to.
Yeah, it's rough when you're ahead and you want to kind of barge forward with that momentum, and you get prevented from doing that by factors outside of your control. But these are all experienced tournament players, so should be able to deal with, you know, kind of the mental strain of playing a match that isn't going exactly how you wanted it to, or, you know, in either a playing sense or a kind of technical difficulties sense. And we're going to go into Nomad 2 and see how things get started here for these teams on a very flow aim heavy pick.
Well, unfortunate misses from a few of our UK friends here. Blue, Malteser, and Kingling all with some pretty early breaks. Blue's going to do the most damage for them at 95% accuracy. Kingling and Malteser are going to be doing pretty okay for themselves after the beginning here. So we're really just looking for a potential response from Norway on this one so that the UK doesn't give up their pick. It's going to be Anthony W. finally trading out Blue from the UK. It's going to stay pretty close, though. Blue's going to have to combo through quite a bit of this in order to make that difference happen here. Some of these streams get pretty spaced in the second half here. Fairly difficult Nomad 2 for this week with some of the density changes here. Going to be a little bit of an easier section right now. Closer streams.
Yeah, the spacing decreases a little bit in that section. We're just oh my Penguinzy.
Oh,
he under-aimed. He was at the very top of that circle. That was about a pixel missed. You hate to see it. That is so
jittery.
That is so huge for the United Kingdom, though. With the FC on Majora and the huge combos on Kingling and Malteser, as well as Blue building back up against now 2 FCs and 1 half backing combo. And we get into some of these very difficult streams, some awkward kind of overlapping, arcing streams that can be very difficult for players. He holds through and makes it through those quick little buzz sliders.
Pretty good job from the remaining players.
There's another break from Penguinzy. A little nerves, like you said, maybe a bit shaky.
Yeah, he's got some jitters on that cursor. You know, I know Penguinzy is very comfortable at this BPM, so it has to just be the aim requirement of this map really making the difference. Blue has had a great recovery. Kingling is going to find a miss towards the ending here, which is going to give Norway a little bit of a shot back into this, but GN trades it. That might have been all their advantage gone now. Majora and Malteser are just going to run through the rest of this map. 99.85% FC on Majora right now, by the way. 99.76 on Nineric. Oh my.
That's a triple reset from Norway, so that's going to slam the door shut right in their faces. Majora with the FC. It's being matched by Nineric, by the way, who has the most ridiculous accuracy I've seen on this pick. Malteser as well. Slightly behind the FCs, but he's up there in the accuracy at 99%. So you've got some amazing plays going on in this one. Malteser's breaking at the end, as does Nineric on that stream. Majora hit that, the only one in the lobby. And that's going to be the UK tying things up. It's 2-2. Majora putting forth an amazing score on that map. That ending is so hard to be consistent on, and he just hit it like it was nothing.
Yeah, that was pretty impressive for Majora there. Nindrake with the slider break towards the ending. Unfortunate. Very, very, very good accuracy. That guy gets 3 fairies on the 99.59 here, because that is better accuracy than Majora without the slider breaks there. But a 99.69, you've got to give props to Majora. Going to be making the difference for the UK on their own pick there. Malteser, 828k. Next closest being the mid to high 500Ks from Kingling and Blue. Great supporting scores, outscoring Penguinzy and Anthony W. and matching whatever GN put up there. So the UK, just a better team performance on the Nomad 2 there. I think that's kind of what they were expecting a little bit. I think they picked that knowing that it was going to be something they had more players for. Speaking of convenient picks and more players for, just to give you a little bit of insight, we do have 2 matches ongoing now because we have overlapped with 1930. Brazil versus Italy, currently up on the B stream. Feel free to check that out if you want to have both streams open at the same time, or you want to just watch one or the other. Brazil did just win their first pick of the match to go up 1-0. It is Italy's pick now, so feel free. to stick around here and watch the other one, or go over there, do whatever you want. Watch one of the matches. They're both very cool.
Yeah, like we're not
biased. I think they're very cool.
We can't tell you what to do. Just watch one of the matches because there's good OSU being played. There's many circles being clicked by many very good players.
Exclamation B stream in chat will give you a link to the second stream over on OSU Live 2. So feel free to slap that command in chat. You'll see it in the title as well. Feel free to check them on.
Go multi-Twitch / OSU Live / OSU Live _2.
Yes.
Watch both matches at the same time. That would be pretty sick.
We'd love to see it.
Make sure you're not missing a minute of the action. As over here, we go into an unsurprising pick for Norway. It's going to be the Hidden 2, low AR Hidden. A very comfy low AR Hidden map as far as HD2s go. Pretty straightforward. Got some aim, got some streams. Not a lot of overlaps, not a lot of big reading requirement to it. So this is one that most anyone will be able to be comfortable with. But Yokespy GN, obviously very scary. Listia, always a threat on the low AR picks. And we'll see how the rest of the players end up doing as well.
Plasma should be pretty good on this as well. Put up that FC on the CS5 AR8 free mod earlier. Blue, also fairly proficient in the AR8 skill sets. I think he's very often required or regarded as a kind of, like a mechanical player. Still very, very good at these lower AR picks, as well as Kingling. Again, Hard Rock players kind of not attributed to the lower AR sometimes, but these are all very seasoned tournament players, so they should have a good time with this. I guess my only wild card for Norway right now would potentially be Anthony W, just because of some of the performance on previous picks here, but we haven't really had anything like this AR8 pick in this match so far, so we'll see if maybe a bit of a recovery there from Norway. They surely know how good they are on a pick like this, and Anthony W is a very high-skilled player, so maybe getting some of those early match jitters out of the way. Going to have a confident performance on this one. I expect a pretty close score difference on this one.
We've seen this map come down to the last moments a couple times before. We saw that happen in Russia versus Sweden, notably a little bit ago. So possibly, once again, able to have that outcome. When a team has Yokespy and GN, of course, you're expecting great things out of them on a map like this one. But the UK players, no slouches either, as you discussed. So we will go into this and just let the chips fall where they may, because I think a lot of people in this lobby are going to be quite solid.
Well, looking kind of okay for both sides at the beginning, with the exception of a little break from Kingling there. Still has the accuracy to back it up right now. These streams are really going to be the difference maker here. Any chain miss on those is actually going to pretty much put a close to this map for either team here. So much potential lost score. Everyone seems to be hitting them, though. Yokespy
just dropped, he just dropped, 10 hundreds in a row on that stream. That's not helpful. Drops all the way down to 95 back. And despite the 200 combo lead for Norway, UK briefly taking the lead thanks to the accuracy gap. All four players on that side over 99. Meanwhile, Yokespy 96, Melver 96 as well. Melver again dropping a ton of hundreds, and there's a break from Anthony W. That's actually really, really bad for Norway. Not only did they lose an FC, they also lost a lot of accuracy.
Well, I guess in the end, combo will make the difference here. We're halfway through. It's 3 FCs and one pretty well-recovered break from Kingling up against 3 FCs and Anthony W's more recent break. But the accuracy there is going to give Anthony W a little bit of an advantage in the latter half of the map if they're able to recover this combo. We'll see what happens. We've got a couple other pretty difficult streams towards the ending here. It maintains kind of a similar patterning to the beginning, but as the nerves kick in and we have a bit of a spike, we'll see what happens here. Right after this kind of square section, there really is a lot of opportunity for some misses. It has to come from the side of the UK if Norway wants a chance of winning this, though.
UK looking pretty comfortable still. Solid accuracy on Listia. Blue and Plasma dropping a little bit. But, like you said, once we get through this stream, it's where things are going to get much more intense. These single and triple patterns and then some more streams provide opportunities to break. And it's Yokespy that falls. drops more accuracy, breaks his combo, and that's really going to be all she wrote, I think, for Norway in this pick. But it's a break from Listia, Blue, and Plasma.
Oh my god.
There's an FC still on GN and on Melver. They've got a couple 100,000 points to make up, but there go GN and Anthony W. This is all
close.
on. It would have been really easy for Norway to come back there if either of those players had held. But now they need Melver, and it's too late. It just doesn't matter anymore.
They needed GN to hold that FC into the ending. Even then, actually, I don't think it would have been enough. GN with only about another 100,000 potential score on the board there alongside Melver with the break, and that would have pretty much been right on the dot if so. But the UK held on just long enough as a team. The early, the kind of middle miss from Anthony W, you really do hate to see those because of the score difference that you get pretty much cut in half to mid 500 to 600k there. Yolks Pie with some pretty unfortunate drops on the streams as well. Melver and GN just not able to pick up the pieces against a confident overall roster from the UK, and that's kind of a trend we've seen of the last 2 or 3 picks from the UK, just slightly better as an overall roster against Norway right now, and I think that is probably going to contribute to them most likely winning a pick like this. I think, if they're picking something like Fremod 2 after going through DT3 and having, maybe a slightly subpar performance compared to what Norway had, I think they're ready to take the mod advantage on this, which is what it seemed like they've been trying to do on the remainder of the free mods.
No, this is an overmod type of map, right? It's CS3 Air 9.1, which makes it really quite dense when you consider that it's 230 BPM. So this is a map where you just say, I'm going hard rock because it makes it, CS 3.8, 3.9, AR10, which is just not uncomfortable for anybody in this lobby. So as long as you can play the BPM, you can just throw on hard rock overmod, get some extra score out of it, and feel like you're probably in a pretty good place to put out a good score. As long as, it's more about just being comfortable with the base map style of, breakcore quints triples in 310 straight. Like, there is no real point at which this map lets up. But UK looked good on that Nomad 2. They looked reasonable despite losing the DT3. And so they're just saying, we're going to stay in this tapping skill set. Yeah, and we're going to see how it goes.
My only concern for this map, and I think, I'm not as concerned as I would have been earlier, but the UK was a little uncertain of their aim on the DT3, even on some of their better speed players. And I think that they've looked better at the aim for their previous picks ever since, or for their, the picks afterwards, up until this one, which is why I would give them the benefit of the doubt that they would be able to win a map like this. But I do still think it is a pretty big gamble against Nindrake, who has been doing really well on these burst aim maps here. Jompa Tormund looked good earlier, as well as Penguinzy kind of champions this skill set for Norway in a lot of cases. Maybe some nerves with standing on the hard rock. The hard rock doesn't make too much of a difference here on the CS3, so I imagine we'll be seeing mostly hard rock over hidden favored. It looks like 3 hard rocks for Norway, and then the 1 hidden Nindrake on the hidden hard rock, and then we got the 2 nomads on the UK. Malteser and Rudge going to be trying to put up some more guaranteed combos. Understandable on the CS3. This should be pretty comfortable. Remove the aim requirement by going Nomad, and then have Majore, who is probably your best aim speed player on hard rock. This is pretty much the best mod lineup you can have for the UK.
Yeah, that being said, I am still a little surprised to see them not overmod it, though. Almost everybody I've seen has gone an extra hard rock on this, if not a couple extra hard rocks, in the way that Norway is here, just because it's so comfy with hard rock on due to the map settings. But UK saying, we're just going to go tried and true. We trust Malteser on the slightly lower approach rate. We trust Rouge on the slightly lower approach rate with these big circles. And so far, so good. It's literally just mod advantage that's giving Norway a little bit of a lead. Accuracy staying quite high despite all the HR. That is a break from Majora, though.
Understandable on the hard rock. It does get pretty difficult on some of these sliders with the hard rock, but if I'm the UK, I would rather take a break on my hard rock player than on someone else. And there goes Nindrake to trade on the hidden hard rock as well. And that's exactly what I'm talking about here. You're really counting on a break from the hard rock players on the other team. So if Norway finds any slip-ups on their 2 other players, aside from Melver, who's going to break, that's going to throw it over to the UK here after these, after this kind of little section here. I don't know what
this little middle filler section.
This section, yeah.
I don't know what to call this. It's weird. but UK is in a pretty good spot now. They're going to bring the lead back over with the Triple FC still intact against the Double FC. Penguinzy and Jompa Tormen both looking quite solid, and Melver and Nindrake having no trouble bringing the combo back up, but that break from Penguinzy is huge. Now they only have one FC left to try to combat 3 full combos from the United Kingdom, who are now in a spot where they can really run away with this in the back half of the map.
Yeah, I don't want to doom the Norway to losing already, but Majoria is the only one to find breaks on the UK so far. Listia, Malteser, Rudge, all exceptionally comfortable on this. Malteser taking a bit of a jab at Majoria in the smoke, but it really is just Jompa Tormen on the FC for Norway right now. Pretty good accuracy for Nindrake and Melver. Unfortunately, this is just far too strong, and there goes Melver as well there again. So Rudge is going to trade one out. Malteser and Listia going to be pretty much bringing this one home here. You've got a 250,000 plus score gap going to be created into the last quarter here. Listia finding a break as well. They're giving some opportunities to Norway, but all that needs to happen really. Yeah, there we go.
That was all that needed to happen for the UK. Was right there. Was one of those combos breaking for Norway.
Malteser just needed to hold, and they had it.
And this is showing kind of why it can be good to put a player on the no mod on these free mod picks. If it's something that they're comfortable with and they can bring home a solid AC FC, you will take that like all day, every day, and twice on Sundays.
1000%. There it is. Malteser going to be bringing home the full combo for UK. Malteser, you know, I don't think we talked about it enough after OWC last year, but Malteser was, I would dare I say, the best player on the UK last year on most picks. He carried quite a few maps in the later stages for them, and I think this year, you know, coming a little bit more comfortable on these early stages, really going through on the consistency early stage here and making the difference on these opening picks here. A little bit of uncomfortable scores here. Melver maybe not too confident on that hidden, but somebody had to take it, unfortunately, and it was Melver for that one. Listia, great supporting score alongside Malteser for that entire map. That's a very difficult map to play with hidden. And Jompa Tormen, again, one miss. You know, not a player that we had seen before in most tournaments or the World Cups. Jompa Tormen has been doing a fantastic job of holding their own in these kind of high-profile World Cup matches. So I'm excited for future stages with Norway to see how they continue to hold up.
Yeah, in case anybody didn't know, of course, Jompa Tormen is a rename of Nielsen, who has been around for Norway for a while. I do need to toss that in case people were unaware. That is a player that has been around on their World Cup teams. Norway, you know, as a side note, really impressive. They have kept 7 of the same players from last year's 8-player roster. They only swapped out one person, which is something that not every team does. Most of the time you see, you know, 3 to 4 player changes just in general. But Norway keeping this roster, keeping their synergy together, it's pretty cool to see. But down 4 straight points, UK from 2-0 down, now up 4-2. Norway, possibly their last pick here in this match, are going to go into the hidden one. Paradigm 4210, the Moth Flake collab. A kind of standard hidden one pick, really. It's a little uncomfortable aim in some streams, just under 190 BPM. AR 9.4, so it takes a little bit of the density out of the equation. But this is one that, if you are comfortable on hidden, is a really nice pick, I think.
Yeah, this is going to be, I think, you know, obviously it is Norway's last chance to get a point on the board here. United Kingdom is at match point, so Norway needs both of these next picks in order to force a tiebreaker here. Very uncomfortable spot for them right now. The UK has looked exceptional in most of these picks, winning by over 200,000 points. In some cases, you know, 500,000 points on these picks after the first few here. So a little bit of uncertainty from Norway potentially on these later picks here, but for their sakes, let's hope that they're able to maybe get one more on the board here and make this as close of a match as we think it can go. Quick update before we get into the map. Brazil-Italy currently at 3-0 in favor of Brazil, winning a break point already. So if you are not watching that match, flip back and forth a bit. Take a look at them. It's going to be good luck. Have fun's MP start 5 from the ref. And we go into Norway's last pick of the match, guaranteed last pick. Let's see if they're able to pick up hidden one after maybe a little bit of a blunder on the hidden two.
Well, they're considerably different maps, of course. This one takes Yolk's Pie out. A little streamy, perhaps. Maybe a little less comfortable on this type of map than he was on the lower AR at a slightly slower BPM. Obviously did still have trouble on that streams in that one anyway.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
I would trust Nindrake.
I trust Nindrake probably about anyone else from that roster so far in this match. He's been playing incredibly well. NCWG and Melv are going to see what they can do. Again, though, UK, a solid hidden roster, right? Listia's been looking solid on hidden the whole time. Blue has had a couple of, unfortunate breaks, but has looked generally pretty good. And of course, Rouge and Plasma looking great on the low AR, and the reading components of stuff. And Rouge has just been a solid all-around player. So I think these are two really good rosters for this type of map, but it's Nindrake and GN finding the early breaks for Norway. And boy, they might be waving that white flag a little sooner than we would like to see from their side if they can't build some combo back up or find some breaks from the UK.
And really not where you want to see breaks from Norway. This beginning part of the map is not the hard section here. And, I think unfortunately for Norway, hidden is one of their stronger mod pools usually. Round of 32 this week took a pretty aimy route on both of them. And, while that doesn't necessarily negatively affect Norway, it very positively influences the scores on the UK, having players like Listia and Plasma. Oh, but as I say that, Listia trades another break with Blues here.
And Melver had broken just before, so it's not the end of the world for the UK there. They do still have the FCs on Rouge and on Plasma.
It's going to be closer, though.
NCW has the FC still. Well, I was about to say Nindrake and GN were matching one of the FCs together, but not anymore as that break comes out from Nindrake. Melver follows up, and there goes NCW as well. This is all falling apart for Norway as there goes GN's combo as well. And now it is just a slow, agonizing walk to the finish for Norway. There is very little left that they can do to change the outcome here. They are going to need a complete meltdown from the UK side if they want to have any hope in this pick.
I just don't see that happening. I'm sorry. Plasma is literally Faker on every aim map he has ever touched. If he makes it through this pattern, it's over. If they make it through this pattern, it's over. Yeah, that might actually be it. Yeah, there's two FCs to none.
There's two FCs to none. A third of the way still to go, but 400k lead. Rouge and Listia do both break, but there goes Melver as well. If Plasma and Blue both missed, literally 5 seconds ago.
Yeah, there goes Nindrake
but
again.
Unfortunately, Nindrake, Melver falling, and CWGN just don't have the combo. GN breaks for good measure. And United Kingdom in what is going to be on paper an upset, but for those who have watched these teams and know what they're capable of, this was a match that could have gone really either way. I don't think either team was the favorite or the underdog.
Plasma shaking a bit on these sliders.
Yeah.
Oh, he hit the space tree. Yeah.
Plasma's just going to bring home the FC for good measure here because why not? Why not?
Oh my god, he actually did it. Alright, I'm not saying anything. Some good scores at the ending here from Anthony W on the 600 combo from Norway, and Blue with a 900 combo recovery from that early break, but there is Plasma. What more can you ask for from the AIM star from the UK? I expect big things out of Plasma this year. With these AIM scores and how comfortable they look, I think consistency is a big teller in early stages, but that's going to be big for later. A valiant effort from Norway in this round of 32 matchup. A good 2-0 start here versus the UK, but unfortunately, it is going to be a 2-5 scoreline. UK takes it. They move on to the round of 16 in the winner's bracket to face off against none other than our 4th-seeded Canada.
Yeah, that is going to be a tough matchup for the UK, to say the least. Canada looking incredibly strong this year, as they have for the past several years. But UK showing in this match that in these early pools, despite all the new players, despite all the changes they made, they are still a force to be reckoned with. So we're going to be looking out for that one. That's going to be a solid matchup next week. And of course, Norway falls down to losers bracket round 1. That means they'll take on the loser against Canada, which was Chile. I think that's a match that this Norway squad should be able to win. I think they looked solid enough. But those will be next week. That sets up all but one of our matches, as we do have the Brazil versus Italy finishing up. It's 3-1 currently in favor of Brazil. They're up a break point. Italy gets their first pick of the match. on a No Mod 1 just ending. So we'll see what ends up happening with that one. That's over on the B stream, exclamation
We're
mark
gonna
B stream in
host
chat.
them,
I think we're going to host them and go over to that for the last few minutes of that one.
Are we able to host right now? Can we host, or should we just send everyone over? Everyone go to the B stream.
Yeah,
now.
go to the B stream. We're gonna link that in chat. Get over there. Watch the next few points of that. We'll see how long that one goes. Can Italy make a comeback, or can Brazil close it out? Well, go to OWC_2 to find out. And while you're on your way, of course, be sure to stop by the OWC site, pick up your banners to support your favorite teams and to support the tournament, as well as, head over to donate link, donate to the tournament. Again, support the tournament, support the prize pool, support everything.
Collective now we have. That's very cool. We've got a pretty good. I think we're up quite a bit on the prize pool right now. Every single donation you make to the Open Collective goes directly to the player prize pool and helping us, reward these players for their valiant efforts every single year with a little bit more than we usually do. So feel free. Open Collective, like T1G said, shill some banners, support your favorite teams. We do it every year. You know who you love, and you're going to buy a banner to support them because that shows how much you love that team. Make sure to come back here after Brazil versus Italy for our round of 16 showcase as well. But for now, go to the B stream immediately.
Oh, get out of here. Join the raid.
Get out
of
here.
Fun.
Yeah, join the raid. Get out of here.
We've been Chillier and T1G. They're going to be Dio and Doland over on that B stream. See what happens.
Yeah, well, we'll see you guys back here for the showcase in a bit.